In 2024, archaeologists unsealed a burial mound in Bulgaria that hadn't been touched since 4200 BC. 6,000 years of undisturbed sediment. Then the forensic anthropologists ran their analysis and found something that nobody expected. Every single body had been killed the same way, same weapon, same strike pattern, same execution method, every man, every woman, every child, same location, same day. Not one exception, not one outlier. And what that means is about to demolish everything you thought you knew about prehistoric civilization, about how peaceful, how communal, how moral the ancient world was before written history. This wasn't a mass grave. This was the erasing of an entire civilization, the oldest gold culture on Earth, gone in a single day, by a single coordinated force. Someone killed them all, and we are finally close to knowing who. To understand why this changes everything, you need to know how forensic bone analysis actually works. Bone doesn't lie. Impact signatures, fracture patterns, blade angles, perimortem trauma markers, they work like crime scene photographs frozen in calcium for 6,000 years. A specific weapon leaves a specific signature. A body positioned by someone else after death. The skeleton shows it. And the longer those bones sit undisturbed, the cleaner the evidence becomes. This mound had been sealed since 4200 BC. No looters, no plows, no erosion. The forensic record was pristine. The site sits at the heart of the Copper Age Balkans, the same region that produced the Varna Necropolis, home to the oldest gold treasure ever found on Earth, and Prevediasalnitsata, confirmed as Europe's first prehistoric urban center. One question drove the entire excavation. What exactly happened inside this mound, and who did it? The first theory, ritual sacrifice. It's the explanation everyone reaches for with ancient mass death. A king dies, his servants follow, a ceremony, an offering. The evidence killed that theory fast. Ritual sacrifice sites show deliberate body positioning, grave goods, preparation, care extended to the dead. What they found was the opposite. Bodies weren't arranged, they were dropped. No offerings, no ceremony, ritual sacrifice eliminated. Next theory, epidemic, a disease event that wiped out an entire community. Epidemic deaths leave no perimortem skeletal trauma. These skeletons were covered in it, significant, uniform, deliberate, every single one. Disease eliminated. Internal conflict, a community tearing itself apart. The wound pattern said no. The strikes were coming from the same direction. One by one, every internal explanation collapsed. Something else did this. Every internal explanation was gone. So the forensic team did something different. They mapped the wound signatures against the broader archaeological record of the surrounding region. And everything changed. The strike patterns matched weapons documented at raiding sites across the Copper Age Balkans. The body distribution matched populations caught completely off guard. And the detail that sealed it, the majority of victims showed no defensive wounds. These people didn't fight back. Because they never saw it coming. This was not disease, not ritual, not internal collapse. This was an outside force, a single coordinated raid, one day, one event, no survivors. Someone came, someone killed everyone, and then someone left. The researchers didn't stop at wound patterns. They ran genome-wide ancient DNA sequencing on nearly every victim inside that mound. Full biological profiles, 6,000-year-old identities, reconstructed from bone. What they found was not a random collection of people. The victims shared remarkably close genetic profiles. These were families, parents and children, siblings, a single kinship group who lived together, worked together, and died together in one catastrophic moment. Then the DNA revealed something the skeletal positioning had already hinted at. The women and children showed the highest concentration of fatal trauma sites. They were targeted first, deliberately, systematically. This wasn't chaos spilling into violence. This was a plan, executed with precision. But here's where it gets strange. These weren't weak people. They weren't a poor, isolated community that raiders stumbled upon by chance. The DNA evidence, cross-referenced with the surrounding archaeological record, stopped researchers cold. These victims were connected, genetically and geographically, to the most powerful, most wealthy, most technologically advanced society in prehistoric Europe. The Copper Age climax civilization, the culture behind the Varna Necropolis, the oldest gold on Earth, the first urban center this continent had ever seen. Someone didn't raid the weak. Someone targeted the powerful. At its peak around 4200 BC, this civilization was extraordinary. Prehistoric ran salt production at industrial scale, supplying preserved food across trade networks stretching thousands of kilometers. The Varna elite were burying their dead with more gold than any society on Earth would accumulate again for another 1,000 years. Then, within a single century, it collapsed. Not gradually, not regionally, everywhere, simultaneously. Tell Unitsite, Gamalava, dozens of settlements across Bulgaria and Serbia, gone. The archaeological record doesn't show decline. It shows termination. And the mass graves show exactly how that termination happened. Compare that to Mesopotamia, happening at the exact same moment in history. Mesopotamian civilization absorbed invasions, survived dynastic collapses, rebuilt repeatedly across thousands of years. When outside groups conquered Sumerian cities, the cities continued. The population continued. The culture bent but never broke. The Copper Age Balkans show the opposite. No rebuilding, no continuation, no genetic or cultural through-line connecting these people to what came after. Modern DNA studies confirm it. The population that built Varna, that ran Prehistoric, that filled that burial mound, they did not become anyone's ancestors. They were replaced completely, permanently. Which raises one obvious question. By whom? Geography is part of the answer. Unlike Mesopotamia, the Copper Age Balkan settlements had no natural defenses. The Bulgarian plains are open, accessible from every direction. The same flat river valleys that made Prehistoric a perfect trade hub made it a perfect target. Then there was the wealth problem. Varna, Prehistoric, salt, gold, grain, visible, sedentary, predictable populations sitting on top of enormous accumulated resources. That combination doesn't stay secret forever. And then timing. Around 4200 BC, the climate shifted. Droughts destabilized steppe populations to the north and east. Desperate people move. And they move toward wealth. This wasn't just a massacre. It was the termination of 6,000 years of development, a civilization that survived droughts, floods, and generations of internal conflict, ended in a single coordinated campaign of violence. That is historically unprecedented. It demolishes the old model of prehistoric Europe as a peaceful, egalitarian world before the Bronze Age. You cannot hold that narrative when mass graves at Tel Unitsite, Gamalava, and now this sealed Bulgarian mound all tell the exact same story. The oldest gold civilization on Earth didn't fade. It was erased, and the people who erased it inherited everything they built. The bones don't lie. The oldest gold civilization in human history wasn't conquered. It was systematically erased, community by community, on coordinated single days, by an outside force that left no survivors and took everything. If you made it this far, subscribe. Next video, the DNA evidence behind the Varna Necropolis. And the findings suggest the man buried with the most gold in prehistoric Europe was not what anyone expected. That video is already on the channel. Click it now.